As a makeup news channel, it is my duty, it is my responsibility to make sure that I follow the most happening news that is happening in our beauty space. And that just happens to be everything unraveling week by week with Jaclyn Hill. And this interview that Gerard did over on The Sesh, if you are not familiar, it is Janelle Fields and Kendall Ray, their podcast where they talk about popular topics, occasionally the beauty community. And did Jen spill? Oh my goodness. If you thought that it was bad the way that Jaclyn had treated people, what you know already, it is about to get a lot worse. It was a 3-hour interview between Jen and another creator who was the cozy situation, but almost worse, if that's even possible. And then after that, big news all over the internet about Marc Jacobs Beauty coming back on the scene. Don't get too excited. There's a little caveat there. And then Alice Cooper, if you know who Alice Cooper is. I know Alice Cooper was a big part of my teenage years. Big controversy surrounding him and a makeup brand that he was going to collab with and is no more. And then an update on Astral Radiance, which is the indie brand that had created the Wednesday palette that we talked about a few weeks ago. Strange things happening over there. Besides that, all of the product releases this week, so much more. Hang tight. We are jumping into all of it right about now. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to What's Up in Makeup, where we talk about everything that is happening in the beauty space all in one place. And we cannot talk about everything happening in the beauty space without mentioning Jaclyn Hill, because that is what's happening right now. I'm going to share with you the things that I learned from their almost 3-hour long interview, things that just made me just are you, what? Of course, I will link the entire podcast for you down below. There is so much that happened in that almost 3 hours, but I'm going to try to sum up as best I can. I'm also not going to go over the things we talked about last week when we introduced this topic, so that video is going to be down below as well if you don't know what I'm talking about. The way that Jen starts off in the podcast was interesting because she talks about how she really just wanted to distance herself and her brand from Jaclyn Hill, from Karina Kaboom, from all of those things. She just wanted to be able to move on from that, and that's why she hasn't talked about it in so long.
And I've worked very hard to disassociate myself from, the whole Jaclyn situation, and so yeah, I think a lot of people who were around don't even.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I had no idea.
No.
I mean, a lot of how would you know?
It's important because, once might be like an accident, right? Twice. But when it starts to become a pattern, and now it's come to the point where I feel like if I don't say something, I don't do something, and it continues to happen, then it's on me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because I could have. And so, I'm okay to take the risk if it'll keep somebody else from going through something like I went through.
Interview goes on. Jen talks about the history of Vampyre Cosmetics, how she got started working with influencers, and how cool it was for her to build up other women who were building their own businesses, but different businesses in that they were influencers on YouTube. Jen was introduced to Jaclyn's videos through an employee of hers back in 2014, and they slowly developed a friendship. They had met up at IMATS that year.
Jaclyn was sitting next to me, and she's like, you guys really need a rose-colored gloss in your lineup. I was like, what? That's a good idea. Would you like to work on it with us? And she's like, yeah. I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. So it's just very organic. It just kind of happened.
And that's how Rose Hill was born. Interestingly, Jen says that Jaclyn's ex-husband, John, was the one that named the shade. The lipstick was such a huge success that Vampyre Cosmetics had trouble fulfilling orders in a timely way, that it took over a week for some of the orders to ship, which was unusual for the brand. So over time, Jaclyn and Jen worked together to develop 4 different lipstick shades. And as they are developing these shades together, they're texting back and forth, and they're becoming pretty good friends.
I mean, she called me, Mama Jen, and I mean, I thought that we had a good, a really good friendship, and she had a weekend getaway for when she hit 1 million subscribers, and it was her family and myself and my social media manager that went.
Okay.
So so we really did feel like part of the family. When she came to LA, she stayed with me. I really felt like family. But sometimes in life you get to a point where you have to like realize that some people value friendship differently than you do. And I think I just hadn't made that connection.
As Jaclyn's popularity on YouTube grew, Jen started noticing some changes in behavior. She started noticing that Jaclyn was being kind of jealous of some of the other influencers that were of similar size to her. And she had specifically said to Jen that she didn't want Jen inviting other influencers on this trip that she was taking with Marlene Estelle from Makeup Geek and Linda Tawil from Morphe. According to Jen, Jaclyn shared screenshots of their private conversation with another influencer. And at the time, she really didn't chalk this up to a red flag. She was like, you know what? It's just kind of immature. It's kind of high schooly, but she had known her longer than that and kind of just was like, this is just a little thing, and then just kind of moved on. But then in hindsight, Jen admits that this should have been her first signs to have known that there was something deeper going on. And then the podcast gets very interesting because she talks about IMATS the following year in 2015 and what happened there. And Jen is staying in a hotel room at the Four Seasons, because that's where Jaclyn wanted to stay, with Linda Tawil from Morphe, it's Jaclyn, and some other people that Jen doesn't name, but we know that her mother was also there. Her mother was her manager at the time. So the Linda and Jaclyn and her mom were all kind of talking trash about some other influencers, and it was making Jen really uncomfortable because Jen really liked the person that they were talking about. And Jen was like, you know what? Can you either chill out on that conversation or go have it somewhere else, because this is making me uncomfortable. Jen specifically said that she felt like this made her, quote, unpopular with the other women. Another thing that really bothered Jen was that there were two other influencers that were staying together, and one of them got very, very sick and couldn't go out. So the other one that was there, the person who was sick was like, you go out, you go have fun, I'm just gonna stay here. So the one that did go to the party that Jaclyn and her friends went to, they were kind of shunning him. They thought it was really crappy that he had left his friend behind. They also were kind of shaming him and making fun of him for taking pictures with certain people. And Jen was like, hey, it's networking. And Jaclyn and her friends were kind of like, like kind of making fun of him for it. Jen said that even though things seemed what she called icy while she was there, that things very quickly went back to normal and it was like nothing had happened. Now, the next section of the podcast goes really deep into the Karina Kaboom situation. Again, my recounting of that whole situation with all the receipts and everything will be down below. What's the new information that we learned about the situation was that Jen said she did not know that Manny was recording, and after he was done recording, Jen said specifically, don't post that. She had no idea, according to her, she had no idea that Manny had posted that clip to his Snapchat until forever later. It was the next morning, someone from her team texted her, called her, and was like, hey, people are like saying that there's a Snapchat up about you, and what happened with Karina Kaboom and everything. So Jen tried to reach out to Manny and was like, dude, what is this? So it took about 18 hours of the 24-hour life of the Snapchat for this thing to get taken down. But Jen swears that she does not think Manny had ill will when he posted this. She totally believes him, believes that it was done by accident. He just, didn't think about it and posted it.
Back then, especially when you're in your own home and you're hanging out with your friends and you're just like being goofy and dumb and,
taking
saying
it back,
stupid stuff.
totally.
You're like, you're not thinking that moment in time is going to like be frozen forever and you're going to be, made to look like something that you're really not.
Yeah.
And so,
and you say that you said this in the context of her attitude and how nasty she was being.
Yes.
Not that she was physically unattractive.
Honestly, I don't think the whole controversy would have happened if I cursed back then. So there's another point for cursing.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I probably would have just said that she was B-word and that would have been the end of it. So, I mean, people have said different things over the years. I'm willing to give somebody the benefit of the doubt that it was just a mistake. And, I should have been more careful about what I was saying, even if I'm in my home letting my hair down, and it was stupid. But at the same time, like, I don't think the person had poor intentions. Sure. I mean, I don't know. Like, I find it hard to believe that unless somebody proves to me that that's who they are, I'm just not going to put that on somebody. That the person very much apologized to me.
So then Kendall flips it and she says, How does Jaclyn get involved in all of this? And we get a more detailed timeline of how Jaclyn was involved in all of this. It took 2 months for Jaclyn and Jen's friendship to fall apart, their business relationship to fall apart after the Karina Kaboom situation. Jen swears that everything was fine. They have all these conversations about, how much money she's making for the collabs and all of this, all these different conversations in these 2 months between when the Karina Kaboom situation happened and when everything kind of blew up. So 2 months later, everything kind of switched gears. So that afternoon, Jen said everything seemed fine, but then that evening, Jaclyn texted her asking Jen to make a produced video apologizing to Karina. I want to play the clip of what Jen said about this.
But when I looked back at the text messages, I was actually texting her the day before all of this happened and saying, hey, I'm so sorry you're getting hate and stuff like that. And she was like, yeah, I don't remember what her response was. But then after the Karina incident, I messaged her and I was like, I'm really sorry if you're getting hate because of me. I don't ever want anybody to bear the brunt of my poor decision making or whatever.
Right.
It's just not who I am as a person. So and she specifically said, no, I'm not. I've gotten a few questions, but that's it. I felt like the choice of words that I used was poor. I definitely could have used better words. I could have just not watched the video. I mean, there's so many things I could have done a million times better, but I can't, I'm not going to fake tears.
Right.
If I'm sorry, like I'm going to, I'll say what I'm sorry for and why I'm sorry for it and all of that. But I don't produce, nothing is ever going to be produced.
And then Jaclyn refused to talk to Jen on the phone about it. Jen didn't want to text about it. She wanted to have an actual conversation because you know how things go with texting. You don't know, what someone means by something. It's better for some topics to have an actual conversation. Well, Jaclyn wouldn't talk to her. So Jen reached out to her manager, which was Jaclyn's mother. Jaclyn's mother didn't answer the phone and then texted Jen back and was like, you need to text Jaclyn. And Jen's like, oh my gosh, I just want to talk to this woman. That's when things really started to spiral, when Jen wouldn't make the produced video apologizing to Karina and when Jen wouldn't text her back and insisted on a phone call. So 2 weeks later, Jen says she got an email from Jaclyn. In that email, Jen says that Jaclyn was extremely nasty and aggressive and she said she wanted to separate from Gerard Cosmetics. So Jen was like, okay, fine. You want to separate from Gerard Cosmetics. I'll take your face off today. So she takes Jaclyn's face off and name off of all of the products and she wishes her well. She says, I wish you nothing but success in the future or something to that degree, like trying to end it cordially, like it's totally fine. No problem. But she's sitting there thinking this whole time, she's like, why did this take 2 months for you to have a problem with this Karina situation? Why wasn't it a problem before? If you truly had a problem with it, why have we been okay for 2 months and all of a sudden it's a problem? Jen thinks it was not a coincidence that she had just had her Champagne Pop Original Highlighter launch with Becca. She had also made a ton of money with Morphe with the original Jaclyn Hill Favorites palette. This wasn't the white palette. This was one that she had done before with Morphe. Jaclyn was also getting heat at the time for not disclosing affiliate links properly. So she had a lot of pressure on her. And I guess maybe this is my addition, that maybe she was getting some heat and she saw how much heat was surrounding anybody that talked about Gerard Cosmetics and was like, I don't want any part of that. So after Jen removes Jaclyn's face from the website, her name off of the shades are still there under their original names, but Jaclyn is nowhere to be found on the website. That's when Jaclyn sent the email that we talked about last week where she asked Jen for $250,000 in order to keep her face and name attached to the shades, which is weird because Jen had already removed her face and name from the shades. It was just the shade names, but Jaclyn was still trying to claim them as her own. And Jen's whole point was that Jaclyn didn't create anything. All she did was pick shades. And she couldn't remember if Jaclyn had even personally named any of the shades. They had decided together on Buttercream and Buttercup. John Hill had named Rose Hill. She may have named 1995. Jen couldn't remember. But she wasn't formulating anything. She wasn't mixing shades. She didn't create anything. She got samples and approved them. That was it. Jen's company was the one that actually created the shades. Jaclyn just picked them. So Jen's like, why do I need to give you $250,000 for my stuff?
But I didn't understand why I would buy back my own product. I mean, it's my product. Like, and she could say all day long, I created this and I created that, but no, you didn't. And at some point in the emails, I did say to her, well, if you created them, you have my permission to recreate them in your new brand. That's
so she
not
felt like
happening.
even the names were hers.
Yes.
And even though in the process of her process of creating is just getting samples and picking one out
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
coming up with a name.
Yeah.
So then Jen says no. Outright tells Jaclyn no. And that's when Jaclyn made the Snapchat where she says basically she's separating from Gerard Cosmetics because of her morals and that people can probably guess why she's separating from them and that she was willing to sacrifice money in order to be separated from the brand. So of course the audience puts 2 and 2 together and they are like, well, Jen Gerard and Gerard Cosmetics are crappy. I thought this. They're terrible people. They're terrible business people because that's what Jaclyn's saying. So we're going to believe Jaclyn because we don't know Jen at the time. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So it's significantly, I can say from my memory, I did not buy anything else from Gerard Cosmetics at that point. Nobody else I knew was buying from Gerard Cosmetics at that point, and it was directly because of Jaclyn's Snapchat. My addition to this, my opinion is that it seems like when Jaclyn realized she couldn't get the $250,000 from Jen, she wanted to destroy Jen for that. I don't believe it was because of anything but selfish reasons rather than the reasons she said in the Snapchat.
She made a Snapchat video. She was going to make a YouTube video is what, I want to start talking about this.
And was
on my
this
channel.
because, did you tell her you weren't going to pay her this amount of money?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I let her tell me why she thought, please do enlighten me as to how you come up with that I need to pay for my own, buy my own product back from myself.
Yeah.
We're not talking about anything with custom packaging.
Mm-mm.
It's all Gerard Cosmetics packaging. There's no branding of hers on the products. Now once her stuff is off the website and all of that stuff, it's like, where is your likeness?
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like where is your likeness? You've been paid very handsomely for what you've done.
Do you mind if I share how much she made in
No,
your
I mean, it's
collaboration?
public.
Oh, it's
I
public?
posted it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was well over
$600,000
Yeah,
in
it was well
13
over
months.
500. Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So she never posted the video though, because you think she was.
Well, I let it be. Defamation is a funny thing.
Mhm.
If you're telling the truth, you can't be defaming somebody. But if you're not telling the truth, you get yourself in a lot of trouble. And I'm not somebody that's like looking to have legal issues with people and stuff like that. But we're talking about the livelihood of 60 people, 50 of which have already lost their jobs, and because of this situation now in 2023. So we're talking about the livelihood of like my employees and their families. And
Yeah.
so if you're going to go on and tell untruths, we're going to have a problem.
Mhm.
And I let that be known that if there was a video made, my lawyer and I would be watching. So
Yeah.
when she made the Snapchat, I feel like she was careful to talk but not say anything.
Gotcha.
And just throw out the inference. And then there would be shady comments like, because people would say, well, when are you going to tell us why you aren't working with them anymore? And it would be like, oh, well, I just don't like the way they do business. I just think they're shady, like that kind of thing where it's not enough to, warrant, bringing any kind of thing,
Mhm.
but it's enough to cause damage.
But another thing we did not know about this situation is apparently this could have come out in 2017. Drama Channel Sanders Kennedy, who I knew Sanders back then. Sanders knew everything about everybody. He could, people just told him stuff. I went to an event with Sanders and people just like their whole soul came out of their faces when they talked to him. I don't know what it was about that man, but somehow he found out about the email, about the $250,000 email, and contacted Gerard Cosmetics through their customer service line. Jen was like, "Nope, let's talk about this. Let's have a conversation." And she begged Sanders, "Please do not do this story. I just want to separate from it. I don't want any of this."
He emailed the customer service email asking for a statement.
Oh, for a statement. Okay.
So I sent him my phone number and asked him to call me.
Okay. So what did you tell him?
This was like in 2017. And I just begged him not to do this story. I said, listen, I've worked so hard for the last 2 years to separate my name from hers. And I just really don't want to go back there. It's like such an emotional trigger. There's just still too much. There was too much trauma there. And honestly, I was fine to walk away and be who I am, let her be who she is, and over time let people figure it out.
Jen would have been the hero in this situation, but she did not want that. She did not want this out there. She just wanted to move on, so Sanders never made the video. There is so much more in this interview. Some things I wrote down: Jen's perspective on Morphe and the Jaclyn Vault collection, a story about how she wronged influencer Vegas Nay. If you remember her, she was amazing. Whether she thinks Jaclyn damaged the beauty community, what she would say to Jaclyn if she had the ability to talk to her, and if she feels like Jaclyn is able to make change for the better. All of that is in there. But if you're going to tune into this, make sure you stay till the end, because that's when they interview a woman named Gabby, who is an immigrant from Venezuela who started a brush company. And the brush that she developed and designed was called the Face Master Brush. It became popular with makeup artists like Danessa Myricks and Mario de Ivanovic, just all on its own. She said she never even sent it to them. They just found it on their own. And how this applies to Jaclyn is that she came out with a brush set with Morphe called the Face Master Brush Set. Now, unlike Kaylin, who didn't own the US trademark for Cozy, Gabby owned the US trademark for the Face Master Brush. And she went back and forth with Morphe for a long time. It got really, really expensive, and she ended up just dropping out because it was just too expensive. But she said it severely damaged her brand, because when you search for the Face Master Brush, you would find Jaclyn's collection and not hers. And people, they don't always scroll to find what they're looking for. They're like, oh, I heard about the Face Master Brush. This must be it. Purchase. And then they purchase the wrong thing. So that is the gist of what happened on the sesh. But again, I highly recommend you watch the whole thing, because there's just so many nuances that I just couldn't put into the short time period. It will be linked below for you. Over the past 3 years since the pandemic began, we have seen so many makeup brands go out of business. Bite Beauty, Becca Cosmetics, Makeup Geek, Coastal Scents, Lila B, Aether Cosmetics. Those are just a few. So many makeup brands going out of business. But one brand that really seemed to catch people off guard was when Marc Jacobs Beauty stopped producing makeup. They were a kendo brand owned by LVMH, and people kind of thought that the LVMH brands were pretty safe. They have this huge parent company. Kendo owns so many big brands like Fenty Beauty, Fenty Skin, KVD, Ulla Henriksen. There are these huge brands. So people were really surprised when they shut down Marc Jacobs. I remember at the time, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember at the time, in 2021, there were starting to be some inconsistencies in the eyeshadow palette formulation that people were complaining about, and just the brand in general. Almost like they were just kind of trusting that people would buy the name without really investing in the quality and making sure they were putting out good product. Not to say all their products were crap, because they weren't, but it just seemed like less effort was being put into that quality. And this was interesting. I found this in my research. An article in Glossy from 2018 cites a decrease in popularity of Marc Jacobs as a whole, citing changes in leadership, decreasing sales, and a decreasing of distribution. And that's the whole brand Marc Jacobs, not just the beauty section. But this is really weird. This is something else I found. A spokesperson when Marc Jacobs Beauty shut down told WWD, quote, Marc Jacobs Beauty is not being discontinued. Currently, we are in the process of strategizing the best way to reach our global customer going forward, but then we haven't heard anything about it until now, because Marc Jacobs Beauty has now been sold to Coty. All the way back in May of 2003, Coty had purchased Marc Jacobs fragrances. And y'all know, Marc Jacobs fragrances are freaking everywhere. They are so popular. They do really, really well. So it makes sense that they would take over the beauty line. The problem is that with some very few exceptions, Coty isn't really known for running fantastic quality beauty lines. Gucci Beauty, haven't heard a lot of good stuff about that. I have heard, there's mixed reviews for Kylie Cosmetics. Kim Kardashian's reimagining of skin, they're going to be a part of that. Actually, Kim was trying to get her part from Coty for the new skin cosmetics. I don't know if that's going to go through, whether she's going to be able to buy them out or not, but she clearly does not want to be associated with Coty, and I'm wondering if that's for a very good reason, or if she just wants the money, or what. I don't know why. We don't know why, but She is trying to separate from them, and now Marc Jacobs Beauty is going in, so I don't have high hopes. They also own drugstore brands Rimmel and CoverGirl, and of course CoverGirl has some big winners, but they also have some really big stinkers. And I haven't heard much about Rimmel lately. I forgot Rimmel was even around. They're probably mostly in the UK. That's probably why I haven't seen too much of them here in the US. So what I really want you to keep in mind when Marc Jacobs Beauty comes back is this is not the same formula. This can't be the same formula. It's a different parent company. They're going to be produced in different labs. They may be able to use the same ingredient list, but the ingredients are going to be sourced differently. They're going to be produced differently. You cannot expect the exact same products. Who knows? Maybe they can work their magic and create something very similar, but just know that this is not the same brand. It's the same name, different brand. So what really needs to happen is somebody over at Marc Jacobs Beauty needs to hold Cody accountable and be like, look, it's really, really important that we not only have cute packaging, but we also have high quality formulas that people are going to love inside the packaging. If they can do that, I think that they are going to do very, very, very well. But time will tell. A lot of time will tell, because this brand is not due to launch until 2025. See you then. If you were a huge Headbangers Ball fan like I was, MTV used to stay up until all hours of the night when I wasn't supposed to, watching Headbangers Ball over at my best friend's house. It was another time back then. And when I was staying up till all hours of the night watching Headbangers Ball, one of my favorite artists to come on the TV was Alice Cooper. I was a huge fan of the song Poison. That was my jam. But School's Out was always a classic. Especially for me and my brother in June. It's like, school's out. Like, it was a thing. It was a thing. So when I heard from Keisha and our Hunters group that Alice Cooper was collabing on a makeup thing with an indie brand, I was like, that is really cool. What is it? And then I saw it and I was like, that is so cute. The little mascara with the little, like it looked like a little microphone. Like that's really freaking cute. Like I'm excited about this. I want to look into this. The packaging on the eyeshadow palettes look a little Rock and Roll Beauty-esque and that quality was not so good, but it's a different brand. So maybe it's really good. Was looking at it. But then Karen drops the bomb that the collab is no longer happening. And then another bomb is dropped. The reason why. It's because Alice Cooper recently did an interview with a magazine. It is called Stereo Gum. And Alice was promoting his new album and they asked him a variety of questions. The interviewer cites an old interview that Alice did back in the 70s. And he was asked about him wearing makeup and doing things that were more feminine with his look. And he seemed very supportive. He even said, that he feels like in the future everybody's going to be bisexual. And he even defined pansexual, which I didn't even know like that term went back to the 70s. I think that is super cool. He was talking about, how anyone of any gender can wear makeup. It can be just because the person wants to wear makeup, which I thought was amazing. Apparently, Alice's feelings on transgender people has changed a bit over the years. Now, Vampyre Cosmetics, who is the company that was going to do this collab with Alice Cooper, on their Instagram, it says that they have makeup for all races, ages, and genders. So any anti-trans rhetoric coming out of Alice is going to be a deal breaker for them. I'm going to put on the screen the entire quote from the interview so you can read the whole thing. But here is the gist. His main points are that he thinks that even though there are real transgender people, he's afraid that it's a fad. He also believes that transgender children are being confused by their parents who are encouraging them to be transgender, and then he compares it to wanting to be a tree. He continues, quote, I don't know one person that agrees with the woke thing. I don't know one person. Everybody I talk to says, isn't it stupid? And I'm going, well, I respect people. I respect people and who they are, but I'm not going to tell a 7-year-old boy, go put a dress on because maybe you're a girl. And he's going, no, I'm not. I'm a boy. So the interviewer presses and is kind of like, well, maybe these parents are just listening to their children and supporting them when they say they are something and trying to be good parents. And Alice completely avoided it at that point and starts talking about bathrooms and that the use of bathrooms by trans people who are using the bathroom according to their gender is dangerous. What's really important to note here is that there is no evidence that trans people using the bathroom corresponding to their gender is dangerous. But what there is evidence of is trans people being harassed for using the bathroom that is appropriate to their gender. Vampyre Cosmetics' first line on their website is Vampyre Cosmetics is proudly women-owned, disabled-owned, and LGBTQ+ owned. So their statement on Instagram reads, quote, "In light of recent statements by Alice Cooper, we will no longer be doing a makeup collaboration. We stand with all members of the LGBTQIA+ community and believe everyone should have access to healthcare. All pre-order sales will be refunded." So they have now moved on to promoting their next collab, which is with Silent Hill Games. The release date for that is yet to be announced, but if you are interested in purchasing from the brand or checking out what they have to offer, they currently have collabs. They are licensed collabs with Emily the Strange, Vincent Price, Amy Brown Fairies, and the Winchester Mystery House. Their website will be linked down below. Speaking of licensed and unlicensed makeup collabs, a few weeks ago, we had a really good conversation about Astral Radiance Cosmetics and their Wednesday palette that was unlicensed that they created. For those unfamiliar with licensed versus unlicensed, licensed means that you have permission to use the images from another entity. Unlicensed means that you do not have permission, that you're just kind of using that to make sales. And a lot of people took issue with the Astral Radiance palette because it was called Wednesday and it was not affiliated or associated with the actual show. The whole thing was really weird because it was a brand new brand. Like they literally just launched in July. And things were weird where it was like, you know, the Wednesday palette is gone and then they brought it back and they said it was going to be available for a short period of time. And then they were selling box sets and then they did a giveaway. And then it was radio silence, like nothing. No more posts, no more responses, nothing. For the show on July 16th, when we talked about this, I reached out to Astral Radiance and didn't hear anything back. So flash forward to this week, and it looks like the entire website is gone. The brand seems to have shut down. They've turned off comments on most of the posts. All of the new posts on Instagram within the past couple of weeks are about Astral Radiance ripping customers off. I'll put some of them on the screen for you so that you can read them. I do not have evidence that these people did not get their products or were ripped off by Astral Radiance Cosmetics. This is just what people are saying on Instagram. So definitely take it with a grain of salt. I don't have proof of this. Honestly, I don't think we will ever know 100% what happened. I would like to believe that Astral Radiance started off this makeup journey with the best of intentions of creating a really cool palette to a show that they really liked, didn't expect the backlash, and just couldn't take the heat and got out of the kitchen. One thing I really do hope, though, is that all the customers either get their money back or get their products, and if they don't, they're able to fight it with their bank. This is just a warning in general because this is just one story. I have heard of new indie brands starting up and then having issues with fulfillment or having issues with customer service so many times in the years that I've been on YouTube. So just be careful with your wallet. Make sure that when you're purchasing from a brand new brand, you do have a way to dispute the charges just in case something does happen, because brand ownership is hard, man. And when a brand is brand new, they may not really know what they're getting into. So just be careful out there. And I do wish the customers and the people over at Astral Radiance all the best. Moving over to the product report, we have some very interesting products coming out. This one, it was only a matter of time. Because when I say glazed donut nails or glazed donut hair or glazed donut sheets, I don't know, glazed donut anything, who do you think of? Do you think of Hailey Bieber or do you think of Miranda from Sex and the City? I always think of Miranda from Sex and the City, but then the second person I think of is Hailey Bieber. So it makes sense that Hailey Bieber is collaborating with Krispy Kreme donuts on a lip gloss. So this is launching tomorrow on August 28th. This is the new flavor of their peptide lip treatment. It is called Strawberry Glaze. Oh my gosh. They say it is inspired by the iconic Krispy Kreme strawberry glazed donut, bursting with strawberry flavor and glazed to perfection for your glossiest, most delicious lips. It's $16. Next up, do you remember Gwyneth Paltrow when she came out with a candle that was called specifically Smells Like My... Do you remember that? Because I don't think I will ever be able to forget that. It will always be scarred in my memory. Well, the guy that was part of that marketing campaign, it seems like publicly people say that this is the guy that came up with that idea. His name is Sean Kearney. He left Goop, Gwyneth Paltrow's company, and now he is working for Harry Styles with pleasing. And oh my goodness, he's doing it again. Do not worry, we are not getting makeup that smells like Harry Styles' vagina. We are getting themed perfumes that smell like apparently. They are collections that have been formulated to evoke the smells of skin on skin and, quote, brief encounters. No release date has yet to be confirmed, but we will keep our eye on that. I don't know. There's something to be said for making something memorable. Maybe this will be it for pleasing. A little less controversial, we have Beats by Dr. Dre collabing on nail polish. Yes, you heard me right, because I know you have always wanted your headphones to match your nails. You were like, this is my dream. If that was your dream, you can now have it. So Olivia in June is collaborating with Beats by Dr. Dre. It is nail polish and press-on nail designs inspired by the headphones, the ultimate expression of technology and beauty, and you are able to match your nails to your headphones with two different shades, Cosmic Pink and Cosmic Silver. They are $9 each. The accompanying headphones are $170. You'll also be able to get a range of press-on nails in tech-inspired metallic finishes, including rose chrome, steel velvet, metallic swirls, metallic linear French, and metallic matte French. Those are $10 each. Other makeup launches this week, we have Ariana Grande's REM Beauty Sweetener Foundation. It is coming soon. 60 shades that they say are fueled with REM Beauty's Hydra Smooth Essence, raspberry leaf extract, hyaluronic acid spheres, and niacinamide. The formulation, they say, is buildable and designed to conceal even skin tone and minimize the look of imperfections, making skin look healthy and radiant. $35 there. They're also releasing a foundation brush for $17. I made a mistake. It is available now on her website and in Ulta stores, but it will be available at Sephora tomorrow. I didn't realize REM Beauty was coming to Sephora. Am I missing something? I did not think that REM Beauty was at Sephora. I guess they're going there now that they've freed themselves from the Forma grips of awfulness. She's free to go to Sephora, I guess. Notoriously Morbid is having their 7th annual Halloween advent calendar. It is now available for pre-order with 13 exclusive products. There are 2 styles available. There's a mini and a full size. Each one has a different theme. And then moving over to Sephora, I believe this might have launched last week, but I missed it, so I wanted to mention it. This is the Huda Beauty GloWish Super Jelly Lip Balm. $21. They say it's lightweight, tinted, and leaves lips soft, soothes, visibly supple. That is hard to say. Leaves lips soft, soothed, visibly supple, and hydrated for up to 12 hours. You know what I'm trying to say. And then coming soon, there's so much buzz on the internet about this. This is the Glossier Stretch Fluid Foundation for Buildable Coverage, $34, available online and in stores on September 1st. A hydrating gel cream foundation that nourishes your skin for buildable light to medium coverage and a natural to you finish. They're also releasing, to go along with it, a brush. It's actually kind of a neat looking brush, in my opinion. It's different, at least different for now. I've seen this stuff in the past, but it's different for now. It is the Stretch Blending and Buffing Face Brush, $28, specifically made for use with the new foundation. Saie is releasing the Glossybounce High Shine Hydrating Lip Gloss Oil for $22, 6 shades available there. The slip of a lip oil and high shine of a sheer tinted gloss meets the hydration of a lip balm. Not sticky, lip gloss oil hybrid keeps lips as nourished as they are glossy. And then from Givenchy, I love saying Givenchy, it's such a great word. Rouge Interdit Cream Velvet Lipstick, $42. And I had to look up and make sure this was a new formula. It does appear to be a new formula. 8 shades here, a highly pigmented matte velvet liquid lipstick that offers up to 12 hours of wear, which I was surprised are coming out with a matte lipstick in 2023. It's not really like a thing that a lot of people are coming out with, but sometimes it's good to be different. And then moving over to Ulta, we've been talking about this a little bit, but it has now happened. This is Too Faced founders Jared Blandino and Jeremy Johnson are back at it in the makeup space with a brand new brand called Polite Society. And we will see how it goes. So it launched at Ulta this week. We have the greatest lashes of all time, volumizing, lengthening, lifting, and curling mascara. It's $27 for the full size, $15 for the mini. They say it'll give you the greatest lashes. But is it better than Saie? That's what I would like to know. Stop. I'm going to stop. I promise I'll stop. All right. Then we have the Big Mouth Lip Plumping Oil Gloss, $27 again for the full size, $15 for the mini. They say we'll blow your lips and your mind instantly and over time with our blow your lips. That's weird. Okay. We're going to go with it. And over time with our exclusive hydrating formula that's not for the faint of heart, because the promo results, look at the promo results. Like these people's lips are swollen. Oh my goodness. The advertising on it says, hurts so good. I have a feeling that this is not going to be for me. I don't think I'm going to be able to handle this product. But I know some of you really love painful lip products, so you might want to check this out. Next up, they have the, which I think is very ambitious, the More Than Pretty Face Skin Caring Foundation. To come up with foundation as your first launch, like you don't see that very often. 30 shades, $42. Packaging, honestly, looks really, really pretty. It's skincare meets makeup hybrid, of course, that promotes healthy skin and delivers long wear, medium to full coverage. And then finally, the oddly named Go Flush Yourself Blush and Glow Face Palette. Wow, $39, 3 blushes and 1 highlighter and multi-modern finishes designed to be mixed and matched and achieve a layered look. Wow. Go flush yourself. Really? Really, Jared? Anyway, MAC. All right, MAC came out with a new foundation. It's been a while since they've come out with like a real foundation-y foundation. So this is the Studio Radiance Serum Powdered Foundation. $46, 48 shades, buildable weightless 24-hour hydrating foundation that smooths texture, evens tone, and blurs the look of pores. And I have a feeling that there are going to be a lot of reviews on that because MAC foundations usually are pretty awesome. PR or purchase product of the week. I didn't get any new PR this week, so I was playing with some things that I've had sitting around just a little bit, including these Sigma palettes that just launched, I believe, this past week. This is the Tiramisu one. That's what's on my eyes today. I had a little bit of trouble with this shade here. It's still, I feel like, is a little bit unblended. It was really difficult for whatever reason, this shade, but the rest of the shades performed absolutely beautifully. I also used on my cheek from PR, this is the Butter Bronzer Contour Palette by Physicians Formula. It says it's new, but I feel like this has been around for a minute, but I did use this on my face today. I personally prefer the lightest shade for me, but I've also used this shade down here and this one as well. They also sent me a deeper one. I have a feeling this one will eventually make it into the hands of my friend Audra because there's no point in me even trying this, but this one I felt like worked really, really well for my skin tone. On my cheeks today, I haven't used these a whole lot, but I'm really enjoying this. This is the Blush Stick by ColourPop. This is in the shade Invite Only. I like the little, the name on the top there. I think that's super cool. I'm glad that they're doing that instead of putting the sticker on the bottom. It's a lot easier to read, and I think it looks really nice. I definitely like the stick blushes from ColourPop that are cream better than the ones that are in the pans. This is definitely my favorite of the cream formulas. I would still go with the pressed ones though. If you're looking to try ColourPop blushes, the pressed ones in my opinion are the best. Maybe they're tied with the Super Shocks. I like the Super Shocks. Tied. Yeah, we'll say tied. And then on my lips today, this is purchased. This is part of the Khaki collab with Finding Ferdinand. This is the Limoncello lip gloss. It tastes like limoncello if you've had limoncello. If you've never had limoncello, it tastes like a homemade lemonade where you put a lot of sugar in it and it's just very sugary and sweet. Very nice lip gloss. I really like the applicator on this. Very comfortable to use. And I like that it's so small because it makes the application really easy because you can really point it toward the Cupid's bow. The glitter in here is very minimal. You can't really see it on the lips. It's very, very subtle. So if you're worried about big chunky glitters, you won't get that with this. And then on my lips today, because I use this, I also paired it with this as my lipstick because I can't do anything normal. This is PR from Essence. This is the Pure Nude Baked Blush in the shade Berry Cheeks. Why buy a pink lipstick when I very rarely wear them when I already have it? I can make it. It's no problem. Notable sales this week, we have quite a few mystery bundles available. The Melt Cosmetics Summer Mystery Bundle for $25. It is a $129 value. Then we have from Juvia's Place, the Back to School Mystery Box, $23 for an $87 value. And About Face didn't get the memo on this, that it's supposed to be a significant discount for a mystery bundle. You're getting 20% off. It's still a discount, but it's the mystery box. You're supposed to get more of a discount on a mystery box. That's just the way that it is done. They can do it however they want. It's their brand. But 5 full-size items, $65 for an $82 value. That's compared to $23 for Juvia's Place and an $87 value. They'll figure it out. I have full faith. But if you want a discount on some things that you don't know what you're getting, feel free to go over. It's not like it's a bad deal. Grande Cosmetics, 20% off of their brow collection available now, 25% off 2 or more select items at Buxom, up to 50% off over at NYX. Rose Inc., 25% off site-wide for their anniversary event. Lancome Friends and Family, 30% off site-wide. And of course, Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty starts today. I did do a full video on it with all of my recommendations that will be linked below in case you're curious. And that, my friends, was What's Up in Makeup this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show this week. I know that I did. Believe it or not, I am feeling terrible today. I had to put on my game face. I am sweating. I believe I have developed a fever as I filmed. I feel horrible, but sometimes you just gotta go. So we've done it. So hopefully my energy was high enough because I'm feeling really awful. So I am going to go get more water. I am going to go lay down and try to edit this video. Hopefully I will make it to live chat tomorrow if I am not deathly ill, because I filmed this the day before so that I can edit it. If I am not deathly ill today, I will be in live chat at 10 a.m. Eastern time, hanging out, talking about makeup, if you would like to join us. If it does happen to happen, if I can do it, it will be available on the replay for you on my channel page. If you click on my videos and then you click on the live tab, that's where it's housed, or you can go to the What's Up in Makeup live stream podcast. It is always linked under What's Up in Makeup every single week. You can check it out there as well. If you would like to watch another video right now, though, YouTube should be recommending a couple videos for you right over here to watch, including last week's episode of What's Up in Makeup. It's going to be down there. YouTube's going to pick the top one based on your viewing history, but if you do need to go, it is no problem at all. Thank you for hanging out as long as you did, and mad love to you, and I will see you in a video very, very soon.